Our work at the Little Devices Lab has taken these tools and technologies to some of the most extreme environments. So whether that is a remote clinic in sub-Saharan Africa or rural Nicaragua, or a really busy urban Trauma One medical center in New York, we have studied how these themes of frontline making and creation are pervasive throughout healthcare. It's not necessarily does the hospital system have the resources or the supply chain or not. We really study what are the underlying human factors that kind of contribute to medical making. And it turns, and how can we amplify that with tools and digital fabrication, introducing that. We also see construction sets as a really important part of the work that we do. Construction sets meaning that we're often not shipping end devices. We're often not shipping end products to our partners or collaborators. We're often shipping them an environment that they can explore. And those components can be reconfigured and assembled in different ways. And there are different possibilities, some of which we can predict, and others we have no idea. And that's half of the fun for us, is being surprised by what people, everyday users, come up with. So one example about how we brought these construction sets to life is our Amply Science platform. So we looked at an analogous industry. We studied electronics and how the development of circuits and tools as a driver of technology. And we saw that when the industry shifted and moved from integrated electronics to breadboards, it opened the doors. It democratized fabrication, and all of a sudden, anybody who wanted to tinker could experiment and could try new things, and they could take it apart and put it back together. And when we looked at that, looked at biochemistry through this lens of tinkering and experimentation, we realized that didn't exist. In biochemistry, there is no analogy to the breadboard. There's no plug and play environment, and that's why we created it. We created Amply to be a platform similar to the breadboard for electronics, where you can mix and match and write and rewrite what you want your experiments to be. This is really important for a number of different users, but for us we see it as, at MIT we can pursue whatever experiment that we want, and it can fail, and that's fine. It's this pursuit of these big, hard problems. And not everybody has that luxury because there might be resource constraints. They may not want to waste those resources. And so we wanted to create an environment that would let people feel comfortable that they could plug and play, they could modify these experiments on the spot, they can remove components of the experiment, and that was how Amply came to life. Amply has what we call a language of design that allows people to design and create experiments that can be replicated by people who they may never meet. This was actually really exciting for us to see the impact and value of this come to life during the pandemic. So remote work, remote teaching was all of a sudden, it was very real in a way that many people, many different industries were impacted by this. We were able to use Amply as a platform to teach 600 students across Spain, 100 students across Massachusetts, biochemical reactions and design. These students were never in the same place together, but they were running similar reactions, and they were able to collaborate together in real time. So we had these experiences were able to happen. They all happened remotely, but not at the expense of missing that moment of, how do I collaborate? How do I share my design? How do I make sure that when I talk through the blue driver block and the green Fastwick block, that I know my counterpart on the other end is going to understand what's happening. So the notion of a language of design, of modular components, of a library, allows and fosters remote collaboration in a way that isn't possible when you're using test tubes and pipettes and protocols, especially when you want to focus also on imagination and invention and curiosity, and giving people the space to explore that.